Hey everybody on YouTube, this is Aaron Spencer 30, and today I've got a question for you. I want you to really think about this, especially those out there that believe in the Bible. And that question is, how many will be saved? You know, I've thought about this question because I found something very interesting in the Bible, especially what Jesus says in the New Testament in the book of Luke, chapter 17. Starting with verse 26. And I'll be reading from the New King James. And as it was in the days of Noah, so it will be also in the days of the Son of Man. The Son of Man is Jesus here. They ate, they drank, they married wives, they were given in marriage until the day that Noah entered the ark, and the flood came and destroyed them all. Likewise, as it was also in the days of Lot, it rained fire and brimstone from heaven and destroyed them all. Even so will it be in the day when the Son of Man is revealed. So, in these few passages, Jesus is saying, you want to know what it's like when I return? Pay attention to these two stories, Noah and Lot. Okay? Now, let me ask you something. How many people were saved in Noah's day when God destroyed the whole world with water in Lot's day? How many people were saved? Well, if you don't know, you can go to Genesis chapter 7 and starting with verse 12, and it'll tell you. And I'll be reading from the Jewish Publication Society's Hebrew English Tanakh. It's got the Hebrew on one side and the English on the other. It's one of my favorite Hebrew translations. I highly recommend it. And it says, the rain fell on the earth 40 days and 40 nights. That same day Noah and Noah's son, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, went into the ark with Noah's wife and the three wives of his sons. Okay? So of all the people in the world, at that time when God sent the flood upon the whole world and destroyed the whole world, of all the people on this planet, how many were saved? Okay? You have Noah, that's one. You have his three sons, that's Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and Noah's wife, and Noah's sons' wives. Now, they're not named, but there were three of them. So that's eight. Okay? Eight people out of, let's say at that time the world had 5 billion people. 8 people out of 5 billion were saved when God destroyed the world with water. Okay? And flooded them all. Okay? Now, Jesus says, pay attention to that story. Okay? What happened? He also says, pay attention to the story of Lot. Okay? Now, if you want to know more about Lot's story, go to the book of Genesis chapter 19. And let's start reading, let's say, let's go to start, well, the whole chapter is good, but let's start verse 23. As the sun rose upon the earth, and Lot entered Zoar, the Lord rained upon Sodom and Gomorrah sulfurous fire from the Lord out of heaven. He annihilated those cities and the entire plain, and all the inhabitants of the cities, and the vegetation of the ground. Lot's wife looked back, and she thereupon turned into a pillar of salt. Okay? So, if you read on, the only people that were saved when God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah and all the plain and all the inhabitants in that area, the only ones that were saved were Lot, his wife, and she turned back, so she wasn't really saved, from the destruction. But it was Lot, his wife, and his two daughters. Okay? What's that make? Four. Four people out of two major cities and all the plain and inhabitants of many cities. Sodom and Gomorrah was just the two that was main ones that was named, but there were other cities. Okay, so let's say Sodom and Gomorrah was the size of, let's say, I don't know, let's say Atlanta, Georgia, or New York City. Okay, so let's say those two cities combined have, good Lord, maybe, let's say, 20 million people. Okay, just estimated. So 4 out of 20 million were saved. Okay, now this is what Jesus says. He says, pay attention to these two stories, because this is exactly what it's going to be like when I come back. See, I don't think there's going to be a lot of people saved when Jesus returns. I don't think it's going to be, billions, millions. I personally don't believe that. But I've got a question for you. That question is, if there were only 8 people when God destroyed the world with water that was saved, and there were only 4 people that were saved when God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah and those cities in the plain around it at that time with fire and brimstone, I've got a question for you all out there, my fellow believers in the Bible, and also my Muslim believers, because they also believe in the Bible. So I've got a question for those of you out there that believe that Jesus is going to return soon. And that question is, how many people is going to be saved when Jesus returns and God destroys this world with fire? Okay, something to think about. Me personally, I don't think it's going to be that many. Okay, if you can prove me wrong, I appreciate it. Okay, I don't have any problems with admitting that I'm wrong. So if you can show me that there's going to be a whole lot of people being saved when Jesus returns or when God destroys this world with fire, that's fine. Please show it to me. Make me a video response, or please put it in my comment section of this video. I would really much appreciate it. Thanks. But I just want to leave you all with that question is, how many people is going to be saved when God destroys this world with fire? Thanks.